Hey everyone, I'm Brian, and this is part 7 of my project review series where I'm taking another look at the projects I made over the past year. And there were supposed to be a few more videos in this series, but I decided to end it with the projects I made through the end of 2025 because the projects I've made so far in 2026 are still pretty new, and I just want to cover the projects I made last year. And I have an announcement for what my channel is going to be going through moving forward, so please stick around to the end of the video to hear what that is. This is my little tree stump project, and I made it using a wood disc and, well, part of a failed 3D print. So I'm not really sure what this was supposed to be when it ended up failing and the print stopped, but the shape of it looked a little bit like a hollowed out tree stump. So I thought, oh, that might be interesting to make like a little terrain piece out of that. So I used some hot glue around the edge of this piece and the wood disc to make a little bit of a wider base. I painted it, dry brushed it, added some terrain flocking, some of this grassy green stuff and these little paper leaves. Then on the inside, I put some UV resin tinted with just a tiny bit of food coloring to make it look like this tree stump pad filled with water. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I had been making smaller projects or less complicated projects because I was pretty busy around this time and it was like the holidays. And I think I published this video right around Thanksgiving, but I didn't have as much time to work on projects. And after posting the video, unfortunately, it only got like a couple of views. And after a couple of days, the amount of views just sort of tapered off. So that was a little bit disappointing, but it was okay. I mean, a lot of my videos up until this point have had very inconsistent views to a lot to practically nothing. So this wasn't really new for me. This little set is what I called my seasonal scatter terrain. I actually made 10 of these pieces, but I used just 4 of them to make like a different, well, I guess like a different environment. So this one is if this sort of rocky, grassy terrain was covered in snow. This one is if nothing happened to it. This one is if it was a little bit wet, like after light rain. And then this one would be if it got really flooded during like a heavy rain. So for this one, all I had to do was put some snow flocking on top of what was already here. Excuse me. Didn't do anything to this one. So for this wet looking one, I just put a bunch of glue on it. And then for the flooded one, I put some clear UV resin. Now I call it scatter terrain, but to me, these actually look more like bases for miniature figures because I really didn't do anything to the wood disc other than just put stuff on top of it. So thinking back on if I would have put some hot glue around the edges and made it actually look like a little terrain piece, I think I would have been okay with it. But these, it was just, again, not low effort, but just not as much effort as I could have done to make it into like a proper little terrain piece set. Yeah, much like the tree stump video, not review, much like the tree stump video, this project didn't get a lot of views, and it just, well, it still doesn't have a lot of views, but again, this was reaching towards the end of the year, so I really wasn't focused on getting as many views for my videos as I would have liked. I was just trying to post something on YouTube every week just to kind of get me through the rest of the year. So despite what I said about trying to make simpler projects, this is my Weird Grove project, and I guess in some ways it's simple, but in some ways it's not. So this, the base of this is just a really large plastic raft in like a circle, and this cluster of trees is actually one like single, well, support thing. So whatever was being printed that used these supports, I don't know what it was, someone donated this to me, it formed like a ring, and all of these tree supports were stuck to the ring. So I thought, wow, this looks like a circle of trees or something. So my original plan was to make this like, for some reason, sort of like flooded, maybe sort of like kind of like a mangrove tree scene or something like that. But instead, what I decided to do was make it into like an autumn scene. So that's why I have a lot of oranges and yellows and sort of like the seasons are changing colors. And I painted these trees sort of, well, more of a reddish purple. And I really don't like the paint I chose. But for a lot of these pieces here, from the flocking to the base and the trees, and these little tufts of leaves on top are just made from leftover sponges that I painted. So I used a lot of glow-in-the-dark paint, so when I shine like a UV flashlight over this, it glows a lot of different colors. And for the video for this project was also kind of disappointing because it only got about 10 views over the first week. But at this point, I was just so tired of just putting effort into videos and not getting a lot of views that it just really didn't matter to me very much. And I might sound like I'm kind of complaining or just I just really don't care sort of vibe, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later in this video. Well, I would have liked to show you my ancient beacon project, but I don't have it anymore. So I'll get to that in a second, but what I did is I took a biodegradable seed pot and I just decorated it. I glued some 3D printed parts to it, I painted it, and then cut a little hole in it to put like a little tea candle light in there to make it look like, well, some sort of like, ancient ruin with like a little fire on top of it. And my plan for this project, I mean, the project itself was like really easy to make. And my plan for it was to leave it outside on my property to see how long it could last out in the elements. I wanted to know like how long it would be until it broke down. And my plan was to just go out there every few days, take a picture or a video of it, and make like sort of like an update video to see, its progress of breaking down. But it actually didn't do that. So nothing happened to it after several weeks. And then, well, I kept forgetting it was out there because other things occupied my mind. And then at some point it disappeared. So I don't know what happened to it. It probably blew away somewhere and I just haven't found it yet. I mean, I highly doubt someone would have picked it up and taken it. But yeah, it would have been nice just to maybe after like a year of it being out there, just having a follow-up video saying, hey, well, it's still here and nothing really happened to it. But if I find it, hey, maybe I'll still do that. Or maybe it's just lost to the wind and somewhere rolling around out there, out in nature. I really have no idea. Okay, so my last project for this video is my toy box city. So it was, the project was inspired by like a story I wrote in middle school. I think it was for like a homework assignment or something. It's like a creative writing thing. But what I did is I designed these panels to look like, well, sort of like a little city or a town square, something like that. And I just used some 3D modeling software to make these like 4-inch by 4-inch panels, and they're, I think, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. But the design of these is based off a Yu-Gi-Oh card, a card called Dark City, which looks really similar, but not quite the same. And I had arranged them into sort of like a formation where it's like 3 sides of a box. And I also modeled this little sort of doll here, sort of kind of Pinocchio looking thing like this, also using 3D modeling software. And the story behind it goes, it's like this doll and other toys like lived in this big toy box, and then the more toys they're added, the bigger the city grew. But then over time, the human who is in charge of the toy box stopped putting toys in, they stopped playing with them. And as time went on, the toys started disappearing, and then it started getting really cold. And eventually this one lone doll was all that was left in this virtually empty city, and it was just hoping that the human would come back to play with it again. So kind of sad, kind of depressing, but I don't know. I was like 12 or 13 at the time when I wrote it. It was only like a 3 or 4 page story. It was a really, really short. But the actual project, so when I made these panels, I realized they were too small. So I increased the size from 4 inches by 4 inches to 8 inches by 8 inches. And I put them on like this wood like panel I had lying around. So that the bigger panels and the wood thing, I actually disassembled it a long time ago, so I don't have it, which is why I'm not showing it here. But I still had my little 4-inch by 4-inch prototype pieces and the little doll. So this project took a lot of prep time because of all the 3D modeling. And I also printed out some panels to go behind the city panels, like this translucent plastic, so that way I could shine some light behind it to diffuse the light. So I used like this strand of Christmas lights, and it had this weird bluish purple glow, which I really liked. But I had to go get the Christmas lights. And yeah, so it took probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days of just working to make this project, which again goes against what I said earlier about trying to make simpler projects. But I wanted this to be like a nice project because the last one of the year, and I think it was one of the worst performing videos on my channel up until that point, because it only had 2 views after a week. So again, it was around the holidays, and I just really didn't want to think about YouTube anymore. So it's like, all right, forget it. It is what it is, and I'll try to do better in 2026. All right, well, that's all I have for this video. Like I said in the beginning, this is going to be the last of my project review series, at least for this year. And I will have a video posted on Tuesday, April 28th. So that'll mark exactly 1 year since I uploaded my first video onto YouTube. But it's not going to be a crafting video. It's actually going to be a vlog that I recorded a couple of years ago. And back then, like when I started my channel, so I started my channel a couple of years ago, but then I didn't post my first video until last year. Like, I didn't really know what I wanted to post for videos, so I came up with a lot of ideas, and one idea was making like travel vlogs, and that didn't work out, but I still had the footage and I'd started editing the video, so I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll hang on to this and post it someday. And I didn't want to post it on my second channel, which is now kind of turned into a channel focusing on like trading card game stuff. But yeah, I'll just post it on my main channel here on Tuesday. And then after that, I'm going to be taking a break from posting YouTube videos because my goal for my channel, or just this like an experiment to see like how long I could keep this up. And my main goal was to try to post a video every week for a year. And I accomplished that goal. But trying to come up with like a new project idea every week, or reusing project ideas, or hurrying to make something even if I didn't have a lot of time. So that was a big challenge, and I've just been telling myself, I don't have to push myself like that. You know, I'm just doing this for fun, so I don't really have any obligations to anyone but myself. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be on a break. When I come back to posting videos again, maybe they'll be posted on Mondays like I have been. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll post one video every couple of weeks, one every 3 weeks, once a month. I really don't know. The point is I need a break, and yeah, it's been fun. So I will post videos again, but I just don't know what the plan is exactly. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I really appreciate it. So yeah, this isn't goodbye, it's just, hey, I'll see you later. So thanks again, have a nice day, and stay tuned for my next video.